Well, I think it was really my this whole idea I had of chronometric sculpture or animated sculpture, and I
Mhm.
didn't want to deal with just, oh, here's a animated CG character, because I've been doing 3D character work since the 1990s. So I don't have a whole lot of a wow for that. And I was doing, early mocap 3D CG, which, with my scab, which was in SIGGRAPH in 2009. So I have a long history with, you know, working with character animation, with mocap, with and also fine arts 3D CG, doing a lot of fine arts 3D CG in terms of digital sculpture. So my concept was to find a way of of kind of blending all of these approaches into one as a new art form. So it was not just about, oh, here's a 3D figure and here's character animation, but how do I sort of introduce the ideas of sculpture and sculptural form and the expressionism of sculpture into this idea of character animation? So, like, my ideal was to really blend both the art history of sculpture and the language of sculpture in the fine arts with that of animation, in essence, and to really have this new art form where every second could be a work of sculpture, but the movement was rooted in the ideals of animation. So it wasn't just like a stop motion, here's a bunch of really cool digital sculpture poses, but that there would be this sort of ideal of animation approach to the motion aspect as well, in addition to the sculptural form. And then it just, like, to me, that a lot of the sculptural form started to take on a life of its own through the movement, which is not something I had originally anticipated. And then it just became its own art form and its own sort of completely different approach to both animation and sculpture. And I've worked really hard to sort of develop and evolve the technique over the years. And I'd say that, I think in my best animation, KISS, or Gallery Data, as it's renamed by everybody who shared it. And, that piece of animation has gone viral so many times on so many different channels. It's still, people still share it and it still blows up. Literally 4 or 5 years after the fact, it's still going. But I think with that piece, it was also this idea of how to have expressionism with this new style of chronometric sculpture that I had. And with the Glitch Goddess, it was to, like, kind of have this feminist dialogue in the body and her sculptural volume and her deformations. And with the Glitch Gods, the interesting thing that emerged with them was it was about defining the post-human male. And during the whole talks I did for Quantum last spring, and a lot of the collectors who bought it, the interesting idea is that we sort of arrived at a whole new understanding of the post-human male, not just the post-human female. So I think it's, like, interesting, you do these talks and people buy the work and they weigh in, and the whole understanding of the work changes and evolves so much.